another beautiful week and welcome to Business Perspective. Assurance of a quick rebound of the Nigerian economy is getting stronger, not only from the government, also stakeholders in the Nigerian economy are giving their backing to this assertion. Before we go to details, let's take these headlines. Nigeria's economy will bounce back in 18 months, Oshibajo. Kachikwu denies alleged plan to concession Port Harcourt refineries. Lagos State government calls for stakeholders' input into the 2018 budget draft. On taxation and society, a segment sponsored by the Accounting, Education and Research Services, we shall be discussing the need for the review of the 1999 Constitution and agitation for restructuring. Stay tuned as we bring you details after this short break. Welcome back. The acting president, Yomi Oshibajo, has promised a major turnaround for Nigeria in the next 12 to 18 months. To achieve this, Professor Oshibajo has asked the private sector to partner with the federal government and help upscale the nation's economy. Our correspondent Rashida Yusuf has the details.
It is the second presidential quarterly business forum in Abuja. Stakeholders are here gathered to brainstorm on the way forward. The group had earlier met in April this year, shortly after the inauguration of the Economic and Growth Plan by the President Muhammadu Buhari. This July, the acting president, Yemi Oshibajo, speaking at the opening session, observed that progress is possible despite problems. He urged stakeholders to seek ways out of the situation despite the challenges. According to him, work is possible while doing repairs. He encouraged the private sector to develop some level of trust for the government, saying the present-day government is genuinely committed to turning things around for good.
For once, and I think that we must trust, and I think that to a certain extent we must trust the government. And I personally, and I've said this repeatedly, that in some senses we are fortunate to have a leader like the president, who at least we know is straightforward and honest, committed to ensuring that government expenditure is spent the way it should be spent, and that people don't do what they like. To that extent, I think we have the right environment, at least in terms of government discipline and all of that, to be able to deliver on the promises that we have made.
Members of the private sector, on their part, urge the public to always see the need to pay for public services for the nation to grow.
Power is cardinal to any economic development in any nation. We cannot afford to continue the way we are going. We are producing power. Government cannot pay because they have no business paying. You are consuming power. You want the government to pay for you. It's not right. You are using a cell phone. Government is not paying for your cell phone. You are paying for it.
Invariably, all the gas suppliers must ensure that there is sufficient gas in the system to power all the generating facility. Apart from that, the citizens themselves, most especially those that are of the negative value type, must ensure that there is no act of vandalism of the pipeline to deliver the gas from the wells and to the power companies itself. So invariably there is a need for gas supply to the power facility.
The Minister of Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachikwu, has denied the alleged concession plan of the Port Harcourt refinery, which continued to stir confusion. Kachikwu said the government has set up a technical committee to undertake a review, stating that the committee will come up with a holistic investment figure enough to fix the nation's refineries. He gave this clarification during an interface with the Senate at a committee set up to look into the planned concession of the Port Harcourt refinery to Ajib Enin and Ohando at the nation's assembly complex. Kachikwu, however, maintained that government has no plan to sell or concession Nigeria's oil refineries to private firms, contrary to public speculations.
It's very clear is that I am not concessioning. I have not given any policy to NNPC or directive for them to concession or to sell. I have conveyed the President's approval for them to repair, get financing and repair the refinery and bring it to nameplate. That's the policy directive. That is what they're working on, and I'm confirming that with the authority that I have as Minister of State for Petroleum. Now, what Wando has said, that's for them to go clarify. And that process has not, like I said, and I brought here the man who is driving that technical process. It hasn't even come to a steering process.
The committee, however, demanded for the real cost of the concession and the real time frame of the concession.
So, but every time you guys come out and you say there's nothing like that, nothing like that. And here we quoted newspaper publications, and you said the following Monday it was rebuffed. Yeah. When we saw this clarification, it's strengthening actually the position of this headline. That there was even the final agreement is supposed to be reached by July. So can I ask you, today is 13th of July. How far have you gone?
The Chief Executive Officer of Ohando PLC, Wale Tinubu, also denied ever making any remark on alleged concession of Port Harcourt refinery to the oil company. Tinubu admonished the minister and other policymakers in the industry to ensure that the planned arrangement for revamping, rehabilitation and maintenance of refineries should follow due process in line with the extant laws.
This was sent to you in a letter of June 13th. In a room 3 doors away.
We have this. The gentleman is there to confirm.
What is this? Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources?
No.
This is
in our letter, attached to our own letter. We also submitted memorandum pursuant to your request on June 13th.
Yeah.
And we did attach this as well.
In the spirit of giving stakeholders in Lagos State the opportunity to make relevant input into the preparation of the state's 2018 budget plans, the Commissioner for Finance, Economic Planning and Budget, Akinyemi Ashade, has assured that a robust and all-inclusive budget will be executed next year. The Commissioner, who disclosed this at a consultative forum with stakeholders from Lagos West Senatorial District, explained that there are specific sectors that the 2018 budget will touch as its continuous move to enlarge the economic scope of the state. In this presentation, Ashade addressed critical issues of concern and attention for the 2018 budget, which include the need to go back to the Nigerian stock market to raise bond for the budget.
In the matter of maybe next week or a week after, we will be hitting the markets again with our 100 billion bond program. And people may ask, why do we need to access the capital markets to finance our budget? It's very simple and straightforward. The deficit financing requirement to finance infrastructure in Lagos has been put at $50 billion, excluding health, housing, and education. So if you look at the size of this budget, it's around $813 billion. If you look at it, it's just a bit over $2 billion. So without doing anything, not paying salaries, not doing anything, you just want to start focusing on those critical infrastructure challenges, you realize that it will take us maybe 25 years doing nothing.
Today, I have in the house a member of the pen profession, Ray Ugochukwu, and the chairman, Accounting Education and Research Services, Mrs Morenike Babinton, to discuss the need for the review of the 1999 Constitution and the expectation for restructuring. That will be after this short break. Don't go away. You are welcome to this edition of Taxation and Society. Today we shall be looking at the 1999 Constitution, and we all know that Constitution is into three orders of the public order, political order, and social order. The three major orders of this Constitution is being featured on taxation, and we all know that taxation is what the government can use to ensure that we have these three orders being implemented squarely. On taxation and society, we shall be looking at how we can bring in all what people have been saying concerning the 1999 Constitution and how the Constitution can be reviewed or amended to ensure that what government is doing is in tandem with what the public needs, and what can the public do to ensure that government also are in good order. I have today with me Ray Ugochukwu. He's a member of the pen profession and a media consultant. Ray, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good day, yes.
And also I have with me on the program Mrs Morenike Babinton ashayo. She is the CEO, Accounting, Education and Research Services. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Abiola.
Today we want to look at the 1999 Constitution. As you are all aware, the 1999 Constitution was drafted by the military, and there has been a lot of clamor on the review of this Constitution. Now, let's look at the Nigerian democracy when we start in 1999 and the Constitution has been handed over to us. What will you say that the taxpayers' money has been able to be well utilized in this Constitution?
As far as I'm concerned, it's a huge disappointment that what Nigerians expected when the military existed from the scene is not what they're getting. If they have been getting that, there wouldn't be all this agitation here and there. It's because people feel that they are being shortchanged. They're not getting what they want. Look at, let's take for example, the issue of power. When government tells you the billions of dollars that have been pushed into that project, up till now, what are we getting? Nothing. Rather, we hear of billions being stolen by people. I stand to say that Nigerians have not gotten what they desire from democracy since 1999.
It's actually rather unfortunate, Abiola, because democracy, the way it is supposed to be the government of the people,
by the people,
and
for the people.
And for the people. But even if you look, if you check the whole of the world where democracy is being practiced, it's like a democratized dictatorship.
Yeah.
Because you see agitation all over the world. You see people not being happy. So do we have problems with democracy? We know democracy is not perfect. But at the same time, those who are involved in governance must ensure that democracy is near to perfect. For me, since 1999, has actually not put Nigeria where Nigeria should be, you know, and unfortunately, it has made Nigeria poorer in so many aspects of life. If you see our young ones now, many of them, I'm not saying all of them, many of them don't want to work because they have seen those leaders that flaunt their wealth, you know, the ill-gotten wealth, and they also do so many other, like those they call Yahoo and so on. You know, they want to sit in the comfort of their homes and be raking millions here and there, ill-gotten wealth. So that is one area that society, the democracy has led us, which is very bad. Another area, that, like he said, is that, you know, governance is not transparent. Okay. So when you look at democracy from 1999 to now, one is expecting that our infrastructure, even if it is on electricity and water and housing, you know, and road network, those four key areas, if they had been the one government since 1999 have chosen and spent money on, we would have been in a better place today. Apart from the millions and billions of naira that have been allocated and distributed to various ministries, we cannot pinpoint that this is what we have done, this is what we have done. So it's, you look at the social order, we are expecting government to be more active, to be more people-oriented, serve the people, do things that people will see that you are spending their money. Let the taxpayers' money, you know, be seen that it's in action. So that one is very, very key. It's important because if you look at the money that has been stolen so far, is for any country, is enough to make that country survive.
Yes. On that note, how will you want the taxes, the revenues that we're getting to be used, the money? In which area do you think all this money can go into so that it will help building our society?
Okay, like Madam said, infrastructure. Nigerians are not asking for too much. When you look at an average Nigerian, they're not asking for too much. Give us these basic amenities, basic things of life, and they're ready to go. For instance, she mentioned road network. Go around the whole country. The roads are in shambles. Are we going forward or backward? No electricity, no good roads, all the infrastructures are not there. Look at the train, the rail system. Yeah. The Indians left for us, built for us. The colonial master left. No improvement on that till date. Without rail system, no country moves because it's the cheapest and the one that accommodates more people.
It's even better for old age.
For old age. Look at what's happening in Apapa. In the 70s, only 10% of goods coming into Apapa were moving on road. The rest moved on rail. But today is 0% for rail. Because there's no track. No rail track. All those rail tracks have been destroyed. So
even when you look at our rural areas, since 1999, I remember as early as 70s, government has been talking about rural development.
Yes.
And up till now, you'll be ashamed to even take anyone out of town to your village. And you find that most of these rural areas, they lack, even when the city lack amenities, what do you talk about the rural areas? So this is, this is something that we will want government to look at. Spend money where people can see their, taxes going. If we have rural development, good rural areas today, a lot of people will not be in the city.
yes.
Exactly.
They will be living in the rural area and then coming to the city to work and going back. But you'll find that because of lack of amenities, because we have not built our rural areas, people pay a lot for housing in the cities. So by the time they get their salaries, probably they don't have anything left at the end of the month because of transportation, electricity, housing, and all kinds of expenses that you get to pay in the cities. And with rural development, agriculture, will develop.
Yes.
Because a lot of people will be having their garden filled with vegetables and so on, and that is also very, very important. So we want government to concentrate on developing facilities, infrastructure that people will be happy to pay their taxes.
Now let's now go to restructuring, because there has been clamoring, there has been agitation for restructuring. Why the clamor? Why do you think? Why the talk now?
Nigerians have never come together to have a constitution of their own. During the colonial era, they select people, they sit down. At the end of the day, it is the intention of the government that will be put in the constitution.
Yeah.
During military era,
the
same thing happened. But where we are saying that there should be restructuring is that the democracy we are practicing now is making everybody lazy, unless those who really want to work. Even government is lazy. Government is not looking for where they can get money. They go to Abuja, once they collect it, they spend it, and if they can pay salary, they pay salary. Which kind of democracy will make people poorer? You are having workers, you are not paying them, and yet you collected money to pay these workers. So it's important that we have to restructure. If it is possible, I will say that workers' salaries should go into an account that governors do not have control over. Okay. It's very, very important. When you make the breadwinner poor, do they think, what do they think they are doing to Nigerians? Imagine government not paying lecturers. They have agreements with lecturers, they will not keep to the agreement. And these are the people that are stationed to develop our youth for the future.
Now, we understand that this is restructuring too. What area will you say government should look into?
Okay, restructuring in Nigeria today, restructuring means different thing to different people. For instance, the man, a militant in the Niger Delta, when you talk about restructuring, he wants a resource control. An IPOB member from the southeast wants to go his way out of Nigeria. Some people think that
restructuring is to get something back from them.
To get something back from them. So, but as far as I'm concerned, any restructuring that will tamper with the unity of Nigeria, personally I will not support it. Yes. The more we are, the merrier. Yes. The population alone is a factor in international politics and diplomacy, even in trade. Today, Nigeria is being loved by many countries, not because of maybe political might or what, because of our population. Because you know that if you bring in goods into Nigeria, it's a big market. So, to me, we should restructure in a way that will keep us together as a country.
On the issue of amendment of this constitution, who exactly has the right to this amendment of constitution? Is it the people or the government?
Under Section 9 of the Constitution has given the legislators the right to alter the Constitution. And going through the whole Constitution, I have not seen anywhere where the executive has been given any power over alteration of the Constitution. We should remember that the job of the executive is to implement law that has been promulgated by the legislators. And you know the Constitution is a legal document. Yes. So by right, the legislators have the power to alter, and in accordance with the Constitution, to alter the Constitution. But what is been happening over the years, we have been believing, because many of us do not study the Constitution, we have been believing that it is the job of the executive. We have been calling on them. No, it is not their job, because they are there to execute. You know, so we should leave the executive alone. When they came to power, they didn't tell us they are coming to alter the Constitution. They gave us all their promises, and that is what we want them to fulfill. So what we want them to do, we should leave them alone, let them go and face their mandate and so on. But my suggestion is that it is important for our legislators to work with the people, to get the people's constitution. I will suggest that we have, you know, maybe we use our obas, our igwes, our emirs. We use them since, you know, structurally and traditionally.
In all the 6 geopolitical zones.
Yeah, they are behind. So in all the 6 zones, let's have delegates of obas for each zone, and they call their people to prepare a memorandum of understanding. So each zone will now take the memorandum of understanding to the legislators, and the legislators, of course, will work on that and, you know, put the memoranda together, work on it, and get a single memorandum of understanding for changing the Constitution, so that we have we have a basis for our Constitution. And if the legislators need someone to say this, I'm saying it on behalf of the Nigerians, that we need amendment to the Constitution. The legislators should please inform the executive and the judiciary and prepare a timetable within 3 months. We should, because we know what we want.
I want to appreciate the duo for this incisive submission on taxation of society today. We have been looking at the Nigerian Constitution since 1999 up to date. 18 years down the line, we are still using the Constitution given to us by the military regime. And today, we are calling on the government, the people, to see reason why we need to review the 1999 Constitution to the betterment of the people. Thank you very much, Ray Ugochukwu, for your submission. Thank you very much. And to my right, I want to thank Mrs Morenike Babinton for her passion on seeing that Nigeria is moving forward. She has been one-man riot on seeing that taxation is used in a way that the public, the people, will appreciate government more than what we are doing today. I want to thank you for your comment and for your submission.
Thank you very much, Abiola.
I hope that next time when we'll be bringing you another topic on taxation and society, you surely join us. Till then, have a nice day. That was Mrs. Babinton Ashayo, CEO, Accounting, Education and Research Services, and Ray Ugochukwu, media consultant, who have been discussing issues on the need for the review of the 1999 Constitution and the expectation for restructuring. I will leave you now to the summary of today's trading on the Lagos floor of Nigerian Stock Exchange. Prices of agricultural commodities, crude oil and industrial metal. Till next week, when we shall bring you fresh and facts. Remain blessed. I am Abiola Ismail.